Etobicoke Lakeshore.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker, for the chance to speak on this motion for time allocation on Bill 5. Bill 5 has been promoted by the Premier as needed to develop northern mines and critical minerals. Don't believe it. The government is giving itself the power to name any city, town, any neighbourhood a special economic zone, which are really no-law zones for any company handpicked by this government from anywhere in the world that can override Ontario laws or municipal laws. We're talking about labour laws, clean water laws, pollution laws, heritage laws, zoning laws. Oh, and if anything goes wrong, if people are hurt, experience financial or personal loss, they are also creating a law that gives them legal immunity. This morning, the minister defended this sweeping legislation by pointing to former U.S. President Donald Trump's 2-week approval of a uranium mine as an example to emulate. Let that sink in. Ontario's government is citing the Trump administration, known for gutting environmental protection, silencing science, and dismissing public accountability, as the model for how our province should function. The mandate for the Ford government was to fight the Trump regime, not to emulate it. Ontario Place and Dresden Dump are just the beginning. I can see Ontario Place from my riding down by the lake. The Auditor General strongly condemned the billions spent in the deal with ThermSpa. More recently, in the face of public opposition, the government was forced to abandon their plan to dump sewage pipe into the West Channel. Kayakers, rowers, and swimmers use that channel. And it only came to light because of the regulatory requirement that they register it on the Environmental Registry. Under Bill 5, they will no longer be required to take that step, leaving the public in the dark about the potentially contaminated water. I've been thinking a lot about the bill and the risk to public health and safety, the price that families and communities can pay when governments don't do their jobs. You see, I've lived for many years, close to 25, in Etobicoke Lakeshore, community that I love deeply, but I'm also a daughter of Bruce County, raised on the shores of beautiful Lake Huron, not far from Walkerton. And so I remember what happened there 25 years ago last month, when a completely preventable tragedy unfolded. In May of 2000, the people of Walkerton, families, children, seniors, drank from the municipal water supply, unaware that it had been contaminated with E. coli bacteria. The result? Very sadly, 7 people died. The youngest was 2 years old. Over 2,000 others became quite seriously ill. This does not happen in the distant past. This didn't happen in the distant past or in a developing country. It happened right here in Ontario, and it happened because of government failure to protect at the most basic level. So I will quote from page 30 of the Walkerton inquiry, authored by Justice Dennis O'Connor. If the Ministry of the Environment had adequately fulfilled its regulatory and oversight role, the tragedy in Walkerton would have been prevented or at least significantly reduced in scope. But, Speaker, the responsibility went beyond the ministry alone. Justin O'Connor made it abundantly clear when he wrote, "The regulatory culture created by the government through the Red Tape Commission review process discouraged any proposals to make the notification protocol for adverse drinking water results legally binding on the operators of municipal water systems and private laboratories." In other words, a political choice was made to weaken public safeguards in the name of cutting red tape, and people paid for it with their lives. So we're now a quarter century later, and we see the government repeating those same mistakes, only this time on a potentially grander and more dangerous scale. Bill 5 doesn't just amend a few regulations. It creates a legal framework to exempt entire developments from the laws that protect our environment, public health workers, and local economies. Under Schedule 9 of Bill 5, the so-called Special Economic Zones Act, the government can designate trusted proponents and designated projects and exempt them from any provincial statute, any regulation, or municipal bylaw. It's not policy. This is about power grab. So let's remember what's at stake. The regulations that the government calls red tape are protections for the water we drink and making sure it's safe and clean. The air we breathe is not filled with toxic emissions. The soil that grows our food is not contaminated, and the places where we raise our livestock remain healthy and viable. and the workers who build our homes and maintain our infrastructure return home safe each day. These aren't burdens, they're responsibilities, and it's the basic job of government to protect people. Premier, this government may want to unleash Ontario's economy, but not at the irreversible cost of damage to our health, our water and food systems. Because of Bill 5 in its current form, no community, urban or rural, is safe from having its rights overruled. No mayor or council will be able to say no to a project if the Premier says yes, and no resident will have the right to know why or when these decisions are being made. This bill deserves input from communities across the province, Speaker. There are some parts of the bill that our caucus actually can support, the one project, one process that's included in Schedule 5, which is actually really intended to help us with mining. And I urge the government to withdraw the time allocation. Rethink Bill 5. Listen to the voices of Ontarians who are standing up for their communities, their health, and their environment. And to my fellow members of this legislature on all sides of the aisles, you have a choice. You can rubber stamp this government's overreach, or you can defend the hard-earned lessons of our history and the rights of the people that we represent. Thank you.
Further debate?